if I die tomorrow. I hope you hear these words. I ain't here to flip no birds or sip no syrup. Hope the future generations can get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
Welcome back to another episode of Nerds of the Rounds, guys. It's your host, Sebastian.
It's your boy, Law.
And your boy, Tone, from across the hall.
And we have an awesome creator series. You have seen her on our Drink and Draw. You may have seen her on the cosplay scene. You've seen her art, seen her Twitch. You saw her on some of our episodes on our live Tuesdays. We want to welcome this awesome creator back, the awesome one, only Diane Aragon. Diane.
Hello, welcome.
Hey.
Welcome back, actually. Yeah.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, definitely.
Didn't think you guys wanted me more than once.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
We love our guests, so we always welcome back.
Good to have you on to talk about you and you're not drinking and drawing and all these other things, you know. So
sober me.
Oh no, it was fun. Diane will be back for another Drink and Draw.
Yeah, well, you can drink and watch like I do.
Listen, you gotta have fun. You gotta dabble. We gotta get you like a small little easel and whatnot.
No,
come on.
You want to see me draw some stick figures?
I'm here for it.
I'll put some triangles on his head and cascade them up so it's like Super Saiyan, because that's how I used to draw Super Saiyans back in grade school.
I'm here for it.
You know, like
triangles over triangles over
triangles.
triangles.
Just you get to a pinnacle, and there you go. He's gone Super Saiyan level 2 right there.
So speaking of drawing back in the day and everything, Diane, what is your origin story? What got you into the world of creativity, being an artist, cosplayer? What got you into this?
Art career-wise, I didn't start taking art seriously until like maybe my junior year of high school, and I never took an art course. But at that point, I was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. And then I got more into art, and I was like, oh, that's what I want to do with my life. and I was like, I took a really big shot in trying to just apply for colleges without having an actual portfolio.
Oh, wow.
But it worked out. I did get in, and I learned a lot along the way. So, I mean, it really started with that. Earlier on, what really got me into art in the first place was just more like around middle school when I started to actually get into drawing and stuff. But that was far before I thought it could actually be like a career path at any point. Yeah, but influence-wise, it was usually comics, anime, definitely like Disney animated cartoons and stuff. Yeah, cosplay-wise, it was definitely a lot further along the way. I don't think I started getting into it till about maybe, I mean, at this point, I guess like 8 years ago.
So you've been at both of them for a while.
Yeah, for a while at least. Cosplay wise, seriously, I haven't been doing it like consistently till like the past maybe 3-4 years. So 8 years ago is when I was like, all right, let's try to do this. Try to put this together. So I started with really, really simple stuff and worked my way up. Jubilee was probably my first like real like cosplay one that a lot of people seem to enjoy.
I remember seeing it. It was super dope. What's the connection to Jubilee?
Again, she was like one of my favorite characters in the X-Men animated series, and Wolverine was also one of my other favorite characters. Mm-hmm. And their dynamic also kind of meshed in with how me and my brother are. So It's and he really likes Wolverine, so it's like it really just worked well together, and I really loved her character. She was also the youngest of the team, and I was very young at the point. So she was like the most relatable at the time. So watching her like character development and stuff growing throughout the years and stuff, it really, really became part of me.
Did you like when she became a vampire?
It was a very confusing time.
Let's take a look at your art style. This is a concept I got to pull up from your website.
Yeah,
super dope. Oh, I love it.
And it's just, you have this really cool style. It looks like they're like painted and everything on there, especially with, and seeing how you were doing it all on digital and all that. But it's like, it's such a really cool style, how you have the characters painted and everything, and how you have the renderings all there. And let's pull up one more. I pulled up from your site this illustration of Bloody Mary.
That was actually my most recent one. That was this year, probably back in January or February. somewhere around there.
Nice. And so looking at your site, seeing all the different mediums, concept art, the comics, the graphic design, illustrations, and all that. How is that part of what you're doing on a day to day, or is that still more of what you're doing on the side when you finish your day stuff?
It's more still on the side, mainly because after college, I realized what it is I mostly wanted to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
So college was like a broad spectrum of like editorial, it was graphic design, it was illustration, like logo design. It was like all over the place. So at the time, my portfolio was kind of just all over the place when I finished. So after the fact, I was like, okay, I really got to clean this up because I actually want to put more focal points in certain things. So graphic art is still there. It's not personally something I want to do. It's just like there are job opportunities for it.
Yeah.
And I did do it for a while. And I learned also it's just not my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
So recently the comic coloring has been something I developed in the past year. I started taking...
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
It's very dope. It reminds me, I know a lot of folks in the manga community, they always tend to take manga pieces and do the coloring over that. But yours are like really crisp, really clean, like, taking the scans and just kind of going forward and adding your own personality to it. For the comic one, so like that X-Men one you did, I know I saw the TikTok where it's in black and white. Are you... the color schemes you're going with, are you sort of emulating what the original color is, or you're really just kind of riffing and doing your own thing from top to bottom?
It's really doing my own thing, but also following through with what their costumes actually are in those comics.
Mm-hmm.
So asides following through with what their color coordination is in the comics, I don't follow anything else. I just follow through, okay, what's the vibe I want to go with these pages? So yeah, the comic coloring is very, very recent. It's something I definitely just picked up on, started taking classes on comics experience, which I do recommend if anybody wants to do or get into the comic industry, because personally, that's really how I'm starting myself up on wanting to get into the industry myself.
Yeah, comics experience. I'm glad you rigged them up. They're a really awesome school, but this is the colors Tone's talking about. You really, 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 from what I see right here, gave a lot of love to the characters and paid attention to a lot of the color details, especially like Beast right here is just very vibrant, and then the lighting and everything. So I just wanted to show everyone that. So guys, if you're out there and you need a colorist, you know who to reach.
I'm up for hire, seriously. Maybe I want to do comics.
Comics experience and all that. Tell us, because not a lot of people know about comics experience, and it is cool to have someone, a fellow alumni, with comics experience. Explain your experience with the school and all that, and what are some of the things that that you have learned joining comics experience.
Well, so far I've taken 2 courses. I've taken the what is it? It's the first one with comic layouts, I believe. I don't remember the exact title, but it teaches you how to do comic layouts, like doing the pencils and stuff. So I did the first course of that, which was really interesting because I never learned that before, actually, by anyone. And I learned it by Philip Sevy, who's a really good artist, by the way. He's a really good artist and writer, who now has, I think, his own series as well, which I think is called Triad. He did the artwork for Tomb Raider for Dark Horse. And he's a really cool guy. I met him at Comic-Con face-to-face too, back when there were cons. But yeah, I learned a lot for that. Learning the breakdowns of what is a passable like comic strip and what captivates the eye to look in a certain direction. And it all starts with the pencils, which is like the real backbone. The second course was with Chris Sotomayor, I believe, for comic coloring. So that was the beginner course. I do want to take another course again, which is the second coloring course. So if anyone wants to take that course, I do recommend it. I recommend him as a teacher as well, because I like don't look at color the same way after that. He actually did the original colors for the pages I actually colored on my portfolio.
Oh, nice.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Was that intimidating to do?
To be honest, I was blissfully ignorant at the time. So
Which is probably a good thing.
So when I was like when I posted it online, I was like, oh my god, he did the original colors. How did I not notice this at first?
I mean, that's pretty dope though, that like you get to have that experience where it's like, oh yeah, you know, I'm and you're like, oh, it's you. I hope you like it. Like, you know, like
but yeah, like I don't know. I find it very calming to do. It's really fun to bring a page, like just a regular black and white page, to life. Like the inks already have so much life to them, but to just create that extra like punch like with color is just, it's really great.
Yeah, no, I see. I mean, even in your cosplays, they are vibrant in color. a whole lot of colors, involved, and it's great, and they all pop. And you know, something I wanted to ask about your cosplays, specifically your Haunter cosplay. So what's that process like? So I noticed that you took the Pokemon and then you kind of you bent it in a way to fit what you're trying to do. What comes first? I noticed that there was a sketch that you did. Do you sketch out those and then you build them out from the sketch?
I do.
Okay.
I do. So there's a lot of cosplayers I've seen floating around on Instagram and stuff that I started to follow that were also artists and do concept art, and they started to do like these mashups and like their own creative spins on these characters and stuff. And I was like, that's actually really fun. I kind of want to do that. And that's where the concept design started to come in from. So that's where like the Dust Skull came from. That's where like the Vaporeon came from. And it actually started with my Haunter. So that was the very first concept design I did to include cosplay. It was the first time I started to think, okay, how would this look like on a physical person?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's like trying to have that conversation with like, all right, what are the must-have elements of the Pokemon? and I would say Haunter is probably really hard because it's literally just a ghost. Where Vaporeon, looking at your Vaporeon piece, there's specific aspects that you definitely want to add that look very much like Zora's and Zelda, but still works for Vaporeon. So that's definitely a challenge, and really cool that you're able to just kind of take the abstract of a ghost Pokemon, but still have that feel of it and adding it to the cosplay.
Yeah, it was definitely the first hardest one I've had. The other ones I've chosen have been a lot easier because there's a specific attributes. Like you mentioned, Vaporeon was probably the easiest. I was like, there's certain key points I do want to put in there, and it gives you automatically the idea of what it is.
Yeah.
Haunter was more abstract. So I mainly played with the aspect of like he has really big hands. So I made the puppet hands, and it's giving it that it was my first time doing that. I do want to go back, and for the physical cosplay, I would like to try to make the hands bigger, just so it kind of gives more of the aspect of like a puppet feel, or like a ghostly puppet. It definitely is like a trial and error once you apply it to like an actual person. But it was definitely one of my favorites, especially because it's one of my favorite Pokemon. So
here is the Haunter that they were talking about.
That's so dope. That is so dope. And that's Katsukan?
Yes, it was. And the Haunter floating next to me was a last minute addition that we thought of when I went to the dealer's room and we saw a Haunter, and I was like, I have fishing line. Someone hold him and be my like little like my Haunter.
That's
Also
amazing.
So we thought of it like last minute completely.
Wolverine.
Yeah,
also X-23. Well, now Wolverine, so
yeah, true.
Oh, she is Wolverine there.
Yeah,
She does take the name at some point.
another one which I know Tone's gonna like this one because it's plus ultra. We have
Oh yes, the Shoto.
Like,
yeah,
I want to say that's fire, but that's so on the nose. But like, it is absolutely fire. Like, that's so good.
Yeah.
It's so funny that you picked the fire side, because I'm a lot more proud of my ice side than I am of my fire side.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Because I see like there's a picture like leg extended cool pose actually I see on the gram.
yeah. You have
They both look dope. Like,
Yeah.
let's be real.
yeah. You do some cool stuff too. Like I'm not, and you do this with the photographers too who do your cosplays, who take pictures of your cosplays at times. Like this is really cool with the effect that you got for Blink right here.
Yeah.
This whole everything right there.
I actually did the editing for that one, and yeah.
Oh wait, you edited your own stuff?
The portals and the powers and stuff I actually did. There is a
That's awesome.
I don't know if I posted the one that he just shot himself. I obviously ask ahead if I can like play around with it. I always ask permission first. I don't want them to think like I'm just trying to do my own thing after they give me the photo.
Right.
But yeah, he was like, no, 100% go ahead, have fun with it. And I put the portal together and I created that.
Look at that. See, another thing people can reach out and hire you for, because that is a really dope effect that you did right there with the portal and all that. It makes the image because you have people, they do their standard cosplay shoots, it's just static there, but that is like an extra layer above the cosplay, which is not only showing your creativity, your art for it, but it's also showing another part of your creativity, which is your graphics and everything.
A lot of your costumes have brought your characters to life, but that little extra, like for just the random person who's like, I never expected to have bats behind me if I'm Batman. Like, that's dope.
But yeah, for like certain characters, like I felt like Blink needed that extra push because a lot of people don't know what that character is.
Fair.
Unless you're like a really, really big X-Men fan or have like, because if you've only seen like the movies, she doesn't make that much of a standing presence. She doesn't like pop up much, or even in the animated stuff. So I felt like, all right, you kind of need to get what she does. She's not just pink. I swear.
she's a character with a missed opportunity because she was so cool in the Exiles comics, and she was actually the team leader of the Exiles for a long run.
You do so much, so you've been doing a lot of it within drawing, and you've done the cosplay, and going through your Instagram. Also noticed that you do resin. So
yes.
How's that come into play? What made you just kind of jump into the whole resin crafting scene?
Quarantine boredom, to be quite honest. I use resin for certain things for cosplay, like little gems and like these little certain accessories and whatnot. But I really got into resin crafting during quarantine. I was like, it was just a new, like hands-on, handsy craft thing I wanted to do since I wasn't cosplaying. And I really got into it. So eventually, hopefully, I'll be able to like have enough pieces, maybe sell them in my shop and whatnot. But it's definitely a fun hobby I've picked up recently.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, you're doing the coasters, and I see the jewelry and all that stuff. Like, it's dope.
What got you into like the gaming scene, Twitch scene, that whole shebang?
I've grown up with games my entire life. I have 3 brothers, older brothers, so gaming was kind of always just there. And I always.
What was that first console that you like got to play on?
Ooh, that's a tough one. How far do I remember? It's either SNES or. Game.
I was gonna go N64. You said SNES. Let's go.
Because I like my brothers had like this little. I think it was the SNES. I'm pretty sure it was because of the particular controllers that I'm remembering. So I think it was that. We also had N64. We also had GameCube. Like, I think my very first, like when I was older, I started to play on like my first one. Like when I got to play on my own was probably the GameCube.
Okay.
But we always had the other like consoles around.
And speaking of games and kind of seeing some of your art, I see that you do a couple Darkstalker pieces. So is that a favorite series of yours, like the fighting game and the OVA anime and whatnot?
It is. My favorite genre of games has always been fighting. I absolutely love fighting games. Street Fighter is my ride or die fighting arcade game forever. Second place is probably Tekken. Darkstalkers is ironically my third, but I enjoy the characters a lot more to draw.
Oh yeah, their character design is so much
better.
That whole Capcom library is
I love Capcom to death.
So what are some of your dream characters that you want to build a cosplay for? What is some character? What is on the cosplay wish list?